chance to hear it, so let her tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina speaks. Tune into the show, she will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerns. You hear some people gone. So tell all your friends to tune in to the
Good evening,
show.
Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you, from national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now here's Sabrina.
Yeah, I'm muted. Good evening, everyone. Welcome, welcome, one and all. It is Thursday. Yes, the eve before the weekend. It's good to be back with you. How are you? To my friends and family near and far, it's good to be back with you for another episode of Sabrina Speaks, Voices of the Islands, Conversations for the World, and the podcast where voices rise, stories unfold, and inspiration takes center stage. It's good to be back with you. Yeah, I muted myself. Sometimes you know how my family wish they could do that to me. My apologies there. Yes, I got started on the mute button. It's when you did do the check, cross check, and reconfirm. I didn't do that this evening. No. So yeah, I was muted for a few seconds there. My humble apologies, but it gave me an opportunity to start all over again. Thank you for pointing that out to me, my love. Connie Bonnie's in the house, and she's the first to comment, making sure she keeps me on my toes. How you doing? It is good to be back with you, everyone, on this Thursday afternoon after having, I don't know about you, but I had a productive day. Yeah, my days are definitely getting jam-packed now and making sure I get back and I got content for everybody. So yes, it's good to be back. And tonight, what we're going to be doing is we're going to do something just a little bit different because it's necessary. And I hinted on this on Friday in regards to the report. Yeah, the report that was released by the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. And it is something that I consider one that's being responsible. We know yesterday we spoke about that virus that continued to dominate headlines. It'll be a part of the headlines again this evening. There's a WHO, but I think is actually saying, look, this is not COVID. Please don't panic and all that sort of stuff. But are we believing them? Are you believing them? And I feel that's why now they're going out on the limb and just really just saying, calm down. People are not buying it, but it means people are locked on, they're tuned in, and they're like, scratching their heads about everything that is being said right now. But what I want to do in addition to that, and if anything breaking comes up, of course, I will do my best to share it with you as we continue to follow this developing story because of the incubation period of this hantavirus. So yes, once we are aware of it and it's coming from trusted sources, we will definitely be sharing it with you. But life happens, life goes on, and there's a report, that was released by the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. And that is, I want to take an honest look at that 2025 crime and traffic statistics report. Not to scare anyone, by the way, just to be clear, not to scare anyone and not to even highlight just certain areas. I think it is fitting and it'll all make sense because it is Child's Month. the whole idea of actually breaking it down in this space, because that's what we're known for, is to better understand what is really happening here and exactly what that report is saying, right? Because Cayman, you got to say it. You can see it for yourself. And every day, more and more people are saying, it may not be the same words, but it's still boiling down to what I'm about to say. We here in the Cayman Islands right now are at a crossroads. And if we don't pay attention now, we will pay for it later. You're hearing the tone come out from your commentary, your contributions, be it by WhatsApp, be it by commenting live. We hear it all the time right here. So tonight's show is considered, I would say, jam-packed. It is packed because of the very nature of the conversation, and it deserves some time. It deserves clarity as well, and it deserves honesty for what this report is saying. And most of all, it's going to deserve your heart. So I want you all to continue to share, like, and subscribe, and share the link with your friends. Let them know we're live for another thought-provoking, educational, and informative session here on this Sabrina Speaks show. But please remember, the content you're about to hear, including any discussions or opinions from myself, guests, and our participants, is intended solely for general informational and entertainment purposes. It's not a substitute for professional legal, medical, or financial advice. I encourage you to consult with a qualified professional for specific concerns. Bridge Media Limited and all its affiliates disclaims all liability for any decisions or actions taken in reliance on the information presented. Now, you can please free to join me live on the conversation by calling 345-936-8255, or you can also send me a WhatsApp message as well, because I enjoy interacting with all of you. Let's get right into it, because like I said, we got a jam-packed show for you today, hoping that you're continuing to enjoy these topics, these episodes, and that there's every episode you take away something that you can actually share, and it's coming from an informed perspective. But before going into that, let's see what's happening with our weather forecast for this evening and into tomorrow. The weather forecast for this evening and the synopsis calls for a broad ridge of high pressure that continues to dominate the northern Caribbean. Satellite imageries show patches of low-level clouds, mainly in the northwest end of the Cayman area. The forecast for tonight calls for mostly clear skies with a low chance of showers. Temperatures will fall to the upper 70s and winds will be east to southeast 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Tomorrow's forecast is calling for fair to partly cloudy skies with 20% chance of showers, and temperatures will rise to the upper 80s with a heat index of near 99 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, winds will be east to southeast, 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. There will be a low tide this evening at 7:37, a high tide tomorrow morning at 3:12 a.m. Sun will set this evening at 6:49, and sun will rise tomorrow morning at 5:54. The outlook, my friends, is calling for similar weather conditions through late Saturday, with a slight increase in the probability of showers from Sunday. And I'm quite sure for all of my farmers, my gardeners, and just period, we're going to be happy should we see an increase in showers. For me, I don't mind it, to be honest. I just don't like the frogs. Welcome as I see you all coming in. Marshall, North Carolina love is in the house. How you doing? Looking forward to having you always, and everybody else who's making their way and taking their time coming in. Let's take a look at the news that's making today's news segment here on the Sabrina Speaks platform, starting with local news for today. The government of the Cayman Islands has released the official summary of the cabinet meeting held on Wednesday, the 29th, 2026. Now, during the session, Cabinet approved the terms of reference for the Public and Affordable Housing Policy Steering Committee and authorized the National Roads Authority to enter land for survey work on the proposed Linford-Pearson Highway Corridor. Members also approved updated drafting instructions to amend the Local Companies Control Act while refusing two exempted requests under Section 53(1)(b) of the Immigration Transition Act. The Cayman Islands Department of Environmental Health has issued recalls for two snack products, warning customers of potential health risk. Officials says that the items may contain undeclared allergens and could be contaminated with harmful bacteria. The DEH is urging the public to check product labels carefully and avoid consuming the affected snacks until further notice. Now, investigations are underway to determine the source of the contamination and to ensure public safety. Other local news, Cayman Airways has opened bidding for a new passenger service system as the national airlines move to modernize its operation. The tender invites proposals for either a full end-to-end platform or modular solutions covering bookings, check-in, and other key functions. Officials says the upgrade is part of a wider digital transformation, with the new system expected to be in place ahead of the planned 2027 rollout. The Cayman Islands Ombudsman Sharon Rollstone is urging government to place an ex gratia seafarers benefit on proper legal footing. She warns that the multi-million-dollar program is currently operating without legislation to support it, raising concerns about transparency, accountability, and long-term stability. Rollstone says formal legislation is needed to ensure the benefit is administered fairly and consistently for all eligible seafarers. And other local news, we're seeing where Cayman Finance says Japanese investors are increasing their use of Cayman-based unit trust, with new figures from Japan's Ministry of Finance showing a significant raise in portfolio assets. Now, Japanese holdings grew from 120.4 trillion at the end of 2023 to 128.4 trillion in 2024. Investments in Cayman Fund Shared also climbed to 101.1 trillion, and Cayman now accounts for more than 62% of Japan's owned investment fund holdings, second only to the United States as a destination for Japanese capital. Let's turn our attention this evening over to what's making regional news for today. Just bear with me. There we go. Yep, I don't have a production team. I am my own production team. So there we go. We turn our attention over to the UK this evening. Cardiff Council says it regrets the inconvenience after reports that missing ballot papers could affect the outcome of the local elections. Officials confirmed that several postal votes were not delivered as expected, prompting concerns that the issue could tip the balance of power in closely contested wards. The council says it is working with Royal Mail to identify what went wrong and ensure all affected voters are contacted. During a visit to the Vatican City, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio met face-to-face with Pope Leo inside one of the world's most iconic settings. The meeting formed a part of the secretary's wider diplomatic trip, with discussions understood to have focused on global humanitarian issues and areas of shared international concerns. Now, officials says the encounter underscored the long-standing relationship between the United States and the Holy See. As we wrap up this evening's news segment, the World Health Organization is working to calm global concerns following the hantavirus outbreak detected on board a cruise ship after some observers drew comparison to the early days of COVID-19. WHO technical Dr. Maria Van Kaloff, which is not her picture on the screen, says the newly identified hantavirus is well known to scientists and fundamentally different from coronavirus. She stressed that this is not the start of a COVID-19 pandemic, noting that the outbreak is confined to the ship with 5 confirmed cases so far, and that health concerns are closely monitoring this situation. What are your thoughts on that? I know a lot of you are like, yep, but we're just sharing it here with you right here on the Sabrina Speaks platform. As we close this evening, U.S. markets closed lower today. The Dow Jones fell 313 points to finish at 49,596. The S&P 500 slips 28 points to close at 7,337. And the NASDAQ eased 32 points to end at 25,806. Now, analyst says that the downturn was driven by weak manufacturing data and renewed concerns in the banking sector, which weighed heavily on industrial stocks. Tech shares held firmly, but not enough to keep the major indices in positive territory. There you have it. That ends this evening news, regional and local for this evening. And thank you for being with us. It's so good to have you here. Connie Bonnie's in the house. How are you this evening? And I know you shared your love today with your beautiful flower. Connie sent us her love today. My mini orchid is what she said. This is her mini orchid. I didn't even know they had those. Oh my gosh. Thank you for sharing that with us, my love. Wow. And for all of you green thumbs out there, we want to thank you for sharing the love and sharing it with us here. Yes, yes, yes. We appreciate it so, so much. And Connie is definitely a loyalist to this, as she's becoming a budding, yes, she's becoming one of the budding content creators here on the Sabrina Speaks platform, as we continue to share the love with you as well here. And we thank you for your dedication and your loyalty to that. Yes, Miss Lucille is in the house, UK. What good evening. It's so good to have you. Damian Henry as well. Good evening, all. He says, life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact. Everything around you that you can call, what happened here? Everything around you that you can call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it if you can influence it. Once you learn that, you'll never be the same again. Thank you so much, my dear. Thank you for sharing that with us. Connie says she not believe in them. Oh my God. You see, that's the problem. You're quite right. And I feel that sentiment is being shared pretty much around the world, whether or not people are being vocal with that, Connie. And I feel that is why they're making such a huge, huge effort in definitely letting people know not to panic and all that sort of stuff. But we just got to keep focus, keep our eyes wide open, and just take precautions. That's all I can say, to be honest with you, at this stage of the game, because it is making its rounds. I mean, you look on one site, they're saying one thing, and you're looking at another news site and you're seeing where it's here and there and all over the place. Yeah, you can send yourself crazy if you don't be careful. Yeah, and we don't want that to happen, do we? No, we don't. So that's why we're going to take it one step at a time. Once we get the latest updates from trusted sources, I will do my best as well to share those with you. We know that we want to say happy birthday to everyone who's celebrating a birthday or anniversary today. And from all of us here on the Sabrina Speaks family, we share the love with you as well, and wishing you God's blessings and many, many more. Yes. And also for those who are mourning the loss of a loved one, our thoughts and prayers are with you as you navigate this difficult time. Each day, just take it one day at a time. I know that there's a lot of grief there's out there, but we just want you to know that we remember you right here on this platform. Let's take our attention now to, we continue the month of celebrations of our Heritage Month here in the Cayman Islands, dedicating an entire month. And we want to make sure that we keep you abreast of all that's going on, with compliments of the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture, and Heritage is reminding you of all of the happenings that are happening here. And just to remind you that this fun day is taking place in Cayman Brac this Saturday from 3 until 6 at the agricultural grounds. All are invited as we continue to join you all over there in the celebration of culture and heritage. Now, this is something for everyone, and you're all encouraged to come out and participate. There's also going to be a gospel concert at the Aston Ruddy Civic Center starting at 7 o'clock this Saturday evening. We know that this is Mother's Day weekend, so why not make it a date? Why not make it a date with mom, grandma, those mother figures in your lives? If you're there in the BRAC and you want to take in all of these events, just plan an entire weekend. And then definitely over there at the BRAC, Sunday, the 10th, Mother's Day, there's going to be a church service as well at State Bay Church, and that kicks off at 11 o'clock. And then we go straight then to Bracknell Culture Day in the Kim and Brack Heritage House from 3:30. That's Thursday the 14th. And then you got the Human Library at Georgetown Public Library at 10 a.m. on the 16th. Going straight down, the Children's Tea Party at Cayman Marriott. That is from 1:30 on Saturday the 16th for all of you who like to get your mums and dads or sometimes the nannies in there and let's play tea. Yeah, that's happening in real life this time. You can celebrate in that at 1:30 on Saturday the 16th. And then there's Road March, Bracknell, Saturday the 16th, Spot Bay, starting at Spot Bay 3 o'clock and making their way down the road. They're going to be chipping. And also the Culturama at the F.J. Harkwell Theater here at 7 p.m. And the 17th, also Culturama. That's the 16th and the 17th. That's 2 days back to back. And then, of course, public holiday is Monday the 18th. That's Discovery Day. And we know all of the events and happenings that are happening here as well. Please be reminded that bulk waste collection is well on its way in the district of West Bay, and that wraps up on the 9th. Yes, so 4th to the 9th in West Bay, the 11th to the 16th in Georgetown, 18th to the 23rd in Bodden Town of May, 25th of May to the 30th of May, Northside and East End, they're heading your way. So make sure you clean up your thing. We were talking about rodents and drippings, the hantavirus and all this sort of stuff yesterday. Even though it's not here, rodents are still an issue. We want you to take out all your bulk waste. And Kim and Brack East, May 25th and 26th. Kim and Brack West, May 27th and 28th. And South side of Kim and Brack, May 29th. Little Cayman, you're not forgotten. May 28th, all locations for bulk waste collection. Now, please note that if the date for your district passes, you are going to be held responsible for the removal of your own bulk waste. And you're asked not to obstruct the roads and to please, please, please separate household from metals and all of that sort of stuff. They're asking you, please, 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 to be cognizant of that. They will not be picking up construction garbage, though. No, this is bulk waste, like old appliances, that sort of stuff. And they're asking you to separate the metals and that and all of that. So help our ladies and gentlemen, DEH crew. Thank you for your service and all of the great work that you do out there. The phone lines are open, ladies and gentlemen, 936-8255. Join me live. Let's hear from you. We love hearing from you. And we're hoping nobody's out there panicking and all that sort of stuff. But, I got to remind you of this free event for older persons, 65 years and older. And this is an itinerary starting in East End at the Intergenerational Cottage. This is Love of Picture Books. All are invited. All our senior persons are invited to come out to these events. 65 and older, presented by Miss Virginia Foster. And you can either read to yourself, read along, or someone read to you. You can, but this is an excellent event to just get out and mix and mingle. And like I said, starting the 12th of May, East End Intergenerational Cottage. Then we have West Bay National Museum. That's going to be Thursday, the 21st of May. And the Intergenerational Hub right here in Georgetown, Wednesday, the 27th of May. All of these events are taking place from 10 until noon, and light refreshments will also be provided. Yes, there you have it. That is a lot of housekeeping, yes, and we're happy to do it. Like I said, 345-936-8255. Hit me up a WhatsApp, or you can call me live and let me know what's on your mind. Hi, Andrew. It's good to have you. Blessed Thursday to you as well, my dear. Hope all is going well with you. Real Michelle is here. I love your new format with the news. I've been MIA, but have some positive news Ooh, good for you. Regarding a buttery bank. First time grocery shopping in 3 years. Look out, chocolate. Here I come. No, Real Michelle, try to become a diabetic now celebrating. Okay. All in moderations, but congratulations to you. We know what you were going through. We're happy that even though I know you were confined in what you could say, we're happy that we were able to create, that you were able to find us and create that outlet. And congratulations to you, and looking forward to seeing you whenever you make it back here. Definitely to meet you in person. Definitely. Andrew, I hope and pray that we do not have an epidemic, but this is so similar to COVID with a cruise ship. The next thing is its conflict is getting progressively worse with imminent confrontation with China and Russia due to the Strait of Hormuz. The chip is going to be implemented now to buy and sell. Famine is coming worldwide. Now, let me digress for a second. Andrew, you're hitting the nail on the head in so much fronts here, because call it conspiracy theories. Right now, you're hearing all sorts of stuff. And what I'm noticing, even with the region about this antivirus, this virus, right? Each jurisdiction right now is coming out and putting together teams and cautioning people because of the movement of people. And it is quite interesting, coupled with looking at the increased price in jet fuel. Every day you're hearing one airline either cutting back in-flight service, cutting routes, and they're warning you. They are warning people. It would be sad, persons traveling far distance, not aware that there is a reality that you could be doing some rerouting to get back home, and God forbid, you could possibly get stuck based on what airlines. So the food thing as well, we're hearing them sounding the alarm on that. But again, everything is tempered because they don't want to create a rush. We're constantly hearing on big media news sites how farmers have been severely impacted because they were unable to get fertilizer. Are you listening to me? They were unable to get fertilizer in the quantities because of this blockade. We may not feel this immediately, but it is going to impact the entire chain. It is going to possibly disrupt and slow down how quickly our food is growing and how quickly it gets back to some sort of normalcy, if that is even a word anymore, when it comes to what this whole conflict has happened. So, or has caused. So this is something that we really need to be aware of. And on top of this virus, and we're saying, and I'm hearing it, people are saying, what are we doing? Are we being prepared? I guess they're saying it as much as they can say it and as quickly as they can without creating panic or fear. But at the end of the day, my friends, we all have access to the internet. We all have access to news sources. 1 and 1 do not equal -2 if it's making sense and adding up. Just be responsible and put something down in the event that what we're seeing being a possible reality of shortages in certain things, especially if you have dietary restrictions. There could be some issues with supply chains. If there are just certain products that you know you have to have, just take your time and put a little extra, buy 2 if you can afford it. On top of all of that, people are still dealing with the high cost of living. So there's lots going on, I must agree. The government has actually tried to give an early warning and signal that they're going to help all of us with the utilities and all that sort of stuff. But what Andrew is talking about is bigger, because then we're dealing with food, access to food, and we understand that we import. You can say everything, because even though we have our farmers, even though we produce eggs here and all that sort of stuff, at the end of the day, for our population, let's say if we can't get goods in here for 3 weeks solid, what would happen? You would be a little bit more comfortable to know straight up, okay, this supermarket or whatever, or we come together and say, we have enough that can sustain a population, let's say of 90,000 for 1 week, for 2 weeks, for a month, but we will have to ration exactly how much products a person can leave with. You understand? Give us some of those stats in reality, because the world doesn't stop. Newcomers keep coming, visitors life keeps going on. And then in the background, we have to prepare for the good, the bad, for the interim. So what I'm getting from all of you is that we're not hearing enough. We're not hearing enough of those details that can give you the reassurance of exactly where we're positioned, be it with this virus, be it with this food, be it with long-term gaps of not being able to get enough oil or resources to keep our grid going, everything. You see what I'm saying? So maybe that's to come. I don't know. Our Honorable Premier is not here. He's gone to Asia now to deal with finance and that sort of stuff. I think Connie had asked that question yesterday. He's away because of his other ministerial duties. Not only Premier, he's still the Minister of Financial Services, trying to protect our financial industry. So no, he's not here. He's over in Asia. So that I forgot to come back to that yesterday. But even though that's happening, life still goes on. But we all have our individual responsibilities. We all have a right to try and do our best to take care of ourselves as well. And just how you're preparing and warnings are given, be prepared. The hurricane season is here. We're doing the bulk waste cleanup and all that sort of stuff. Look at your own surroundings. Like I said, there's certain things in the supermarket that we may not get. We may not get. Or there may be a short disruption in you getting a particular product. Let's say there was a specific detergent that you use because you have eczema, you have allergies or something like that. So yeah, you want to, I just froze on Facebook. So just bear with me. Let me just restart that back. Let's say that there is some shortages in those things. Facebook, you should be back up momentarily. I just got a little warning, so I tried to catch it so there wouldn't be much back. Yeah. So in case you were streaming me on Facebook, I'm back. I should be back right now. So there you go. I got a message. Where is it? Because I want to go off into the statistics. Hey, Harry, how you doing? Hello. It's good. You're more than welcome, Michelle. Harry, it's good to have you with us this evening. What did you say, Harry? The Dutch Health Authority and several African health authorities and the WHO have assured everyone no epidemic is coming. There you go. The thing is, Harry, nobody's believing them. The thing that always annoys me is when companies give weeks warning to people, they ignore it. And when those issues come up, they all complain about it. They told you it would happen. Which one? Another pandemic type thing or what? Shortages in food? Tell me. Tell me what you're referring to, because there's a lot going on. Yes. Yeah, I think so too, until it's already too late. Yeah. Yep, Connie, I think you're agreeing with Harry. Real Michelle said, children should be taught more about food production and particularly how to grow your own food, whether you live in an apartment or have land. And Harry is saying the UK has 3 days of food at any given time at current consumption rates. And what's that? Harry, if you've never been to the Cayman Islands or to the Caribbean, let me tell you, our portions aren't normal, and I'm just speaking the truth. We do not know, save for having been hit by Hurricane Ivan, Cayman really don't know what sufferation is, at least not our generation, Harry. It is a fact. And if we have to cut back, and I've heard Andrew say it here, I've heard Denver, that if hard time really hit us, hard time, where we have to go, the closest thing you could think about where that is concerned is during Hurricane Ivan, and when we had latter days where we had to shut down for the pandemic. And yes, certain things they had rationed out where you were only limited to X amount, but you really cannot compare that to what is being alluded to or what could be a reality with what's happening. So it's going to be interesting what your food consumption is like versus the Caribbean. It is not just cutting the same cloth. It's just totally different here, unless, of course, you have serious diet restrictions and or you have had procedures like gastric bypass where you just can't hold large quantities. But the average person do not really do their average food consumption size. So what is that on a national? What does that look like? I know the dietitian shows you a plate and it has the starch, the protein, the vegetables. Yeah, right. You ever went to one of our restaurants and see how much rice they give you? Okay, that's 98% of the plate. And what that is, the little bit of protein that you actually get, it's more full of rice and you think you're getting a large meal. So that comparison here is by far a difference. All children should be taught how to fish and how to rig a line. I had to fish for food and was thankful my grandpa taught me how. Praise be to God. Harry saying I was referring to shortages on products in general. Okay, yeah. Thank you for that, Andrew. As it is Heritage Month, I would say we need to go back to how our forefathers, elders had to survive. Unfortunately, we cannot go fishing to sustain the population of 100,000. I was being modest, to be honest with you. And we do not have enough farming cattle to support the population. What strategic plan do we have to deal with this issue? The Minister of Agriculture, if my memory serves me well, actually made some references, and maybe the Minister of Finance, where they were looking at other options or other avenues, could be the Premier too, at looking at other trade routes to try and lower the cost of food and looking at other options instead of just solely being dependent on the United States. However, there were concerns as to the safety of what stuff we get from these and that they meet the standards. So again, I can only tell you we got wait. We have to wait. Harry says, hard times equal you won't be able to fly on planes or drive anywhere anytime. It not look it will not look not like server deprivation, but it is perceived like that with which I've always found interesting. Okay. Oof, that was a tongue twister there. But yeah, I just say we have to be optimistic. We have to be prepared for all of those people that were almost preparing for doomsday, that we were laughing at them, that they have all of these things stored up in bunkers. I don't think we're looking at them as silly people anymore, because what we would have to do in a mad rush right now, yeah, it is what it is. I need to share with you that since we were on that virus thing, the representative from Georgetown Central, Kenneth Bryan, shared with me a letter that he wrote, and I don't have it to put on the screen because I just copied and pasted here, but please allow me to read this. And it goes, and I read as sent to me. Dear Premier Ebanks, I am writing to you today in my capacity as Deputy Leader of the Opposition and on behalf of the citizen and residents of the Cayman Islands to express growing concerns regarding the recent outbreak of the hantavirus, which has now been reported in over 6 countries. Given the virus's potential for widespread impact and the current fears of a burgeoning or beginning pandemic, and I think that's a typo there. It is imperative that our government provides clear and immense assurance to the public regarding our island's preparedness. As you are well aware, the Cayman Islands is a premier international tourism destination, welcoming visitors from all corners of the globe. This high level of international connectivity, while vital to our economy, also necessitates a robust and proactive strategy for managing public health risk associated with infectious diseases. In light of this, I am formally requesting a comprehensive update on the following: current surveillance measures. What specific protocols are in place to monitor the hantavirus within our borders and at all points of entry? Public health resources. What steps have been taken to ensure our medical facilities and public health officials are equipped with the necessary resources and training to identify and manage potential cases? Interagency coordination. How are various government departments, particularly those responsible for health, transport, and tourism, collaborating to ensure a unified and effective response? Public communication plan. What information is being disseminated to residents and visitors to educate them on the risk and preventative measures associated with the hantavirus? The people of the Cayman Islands deserve to know that their government is taking every necessary precaution to safeguard their health and well-being. I look forward to your prompt response and to the opportunity to discuss these critical matters further. Yours sincerely, Kenneth Bryan, MP, Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Shadow Minister for Labor and Tourism, Member of Parliament for Georgetown Central. End quote. So there you have it, ladies. We see where the Deputy Leader of the Opposition has penned a letter addressed to the Premier of the Cayman Islands asking all of these things. And the phone lines are open. If he hears this, he's free to call in to give an explanation or to explain this, break this down even more. I felt it was necessary. It was shared. I shared it with you. But seeing that we coming off the heels of our topic yesterday that broke it down, and here we go. The question is still being asked from this member of Parliament. So there we have it. I guess more to come on that. And if we get any more information on that, we definitely will be sharing it with you as well. 936-8255. Hit me up. Call in live. The phone lines are open this evening. Welcome one and all. Aliano is in the house. Good evening to you as well. It's good to have you here with us. There we go. I just read your letter. Tongue twister. Good evening, MP Bryan.
How you doing?
I am fine. Taking one day at a time, my dear. Trying to look at everything that's going on around the world, and how fitting, because this letter penned to the Premier comes off the heels of an entire, I would say, hour and a half show that we did yesterday, just breaking it down in layman's terms. And pretty much the same sentiments that you're asking here was included in some of the commentary that was shared with our viewers and listeners yesterday as well.
Oh, I feel bad now that I missed yesterday's show. I didn't get a chance to listen in, but I thought that I would include you from being a former Minister of Health to understand the magnitude of what the potential could be. So I'm glad that you were able to read it out to your listeners. And with that being said, good evening, everybody. And Sabrina, thank you for having me on the show. Just to respond to what you said, I don't want to overly alarm people about this, but it's always better to be proactive, safe than sorry. And as I said in my email, we are a tourism destination with people coming from all parts of the world. It was on my radar for about a week now, but not until I heard that, some of the people suspected to have received it has now reached as far as the US and the UK, because most of and our large 80% of our tourism comes from the United States, and another 9%, I think, my memory serves me well, comes from the United Kingdom. So we got to be mindful of that, and I just want, if nothing, for it to be on the minds of the government. I mean, obviously they have the specialists available to make the decision as to when they want to
That you.
to deal with. That's me.
Yeah,
When I
that
start
you.
making that noise.
That you.
Okay, all right. All right. So thank you so much. Yeah, Sabrina, you never change, man. Yeah,
Nope.
that you, not me,
That you.
that you. um, but to just to make sure that they're put into the front of their minds, obviously I don't want to create an alarm, but if the government and their specialists believe there's something for us to be mindful of, we have Caymanians who are traveling as well for
Yeah.
business and pleasure, even if to just let them know to be mindful. I'm happy to say that the World Health Organization did say that it is a very, very low risk situation globally. They do not believe it's going to be another pandemic because this virus doesn't spread similarly to that of COVID. And they've had coronaviruses before. So that's the good news. But at the end of the day, we have to make sure to let our population know about what's going on, that they may be traveling. We would hate to know that a Caymanian who weren't informed about this and didn't take necessary precautions to be safe in a hot zone if they're traveling.
Correct.
So that plus people coming from those areas, it's important to even CBC, they maybe even ask questions where, your recent travels, where you're coming from. And I'm assuming that's something all the Caribbean tourism destinations may start doing. So particularly, I would love to hear from the Minister of Tourism on it and CBC. So I have enough faith in our health system that they'll be making the necessary precautions, but just in case they're not, I hope to bring it to the front of their forefront of their minds, and it's for them to tell us that it is at the forefront of their minds, so we can feel comfortable.
Right.
Because that's my job as an MP. So, thank you for reading it out. And if you have any questions before I let you go, you know that we have the listening tour tonight, so I'm just getting myself prepared for that tonight.
Oh, that is tonight. I didn't get the reschedule.
Well,
I missed that one.
There goes your.
Well, you just plugged
Yeah,
it.
we gotta work on
You just plug that for yourself.
Where
is it? Where is it?
It's at the Seafarers Hall
Okay,
in
okay.
Prospect. So, sorry if we didn't get the message to you to let you know it was rescheduled. But as you remember, the last one, we had to cancel due to the dump fire, which caused chaos from a traffic perspective and a health and safety perspective. And our leader had to obviously be there. It was in his constituency specifically, as well as he represents us as a whole. So it would be difficult to have the listening tour without, all members there. And naturally, we were worried about the safety of the people. So we rescheduled it to tonight. Hopefully, people will be able to get there. We're starting 6:37. This is the time. Yeah. This is the time if you have concerns or issues that you want to bring to an elected member's perspective, regardless of where you're from. Though the opposition does not have not an elected member in every constituency, we represent everybody. So no matter where you're, East End, North Side, West Mid, Georgetown, Town, even Cayman Brac, you're all welcome to come and share your thoughts, because we want to make sure that when we are out there debating, fighting on your behalf, or lobbying on positions on behalf of the people, it is what we're hearing from the public. So everybody is welcome, including you, Sabrina, because you are a big voice. I mean, you hear a lot from the community. So it would actually be nice for you to come, share your thoughts with us, if you want to, obviously, and even see what we're trying to accomplish, because it is what it says. It is a listening tour. I don't think you can represent well if you don't listen well.
Right to the people.
Yeah.
And
So with that being
I brought this up
Yeah,
when
go
you
ahead.
all were in Parliament the other day. I think it was on open mic, that even though the opposition is not the government, the opposition represents those persons who did not support the elected construct. So they are your representatives. And someone came up to me and said that, you know, that even at the end of the day, it's not that you hate the sitting government because there is a coalition, but what they're saying, the role from a national perspective of the opposition is that you pretty much depends on the voice of the opposition to be your voice because you didn't vote for that construct. You see what I'm saying? Whoever's on the opposition,
Yeah,
people voted for you hoping you would have made the government wherever the majority is,
yeah,
right? But because there is a
yeah.
coalition government, your voice is sitting in the opposition because you didn't vote for this construct.
Yeah, that's definitely one way to see it, and I agree with that viewpoint. For those who voted for us to say, "Listen, we believe in you, and we want you to speak for us." But what I'm also finding, though, even more frequent than I thought, is that there are people who didn't vote for us who say, "Listen, we may not agree with certain things that the government is doing." Or they may call us and say, "We think the government is on the right track here. Go ahead and support that." Because I don't think necessarily, like, say for instance, if I just single out Georgetown Central,
Right.
I can't say Georgetown Central because they voted for me, they hate everything the government is doing. I don't think that's the case at all. So I think it's our job to be a voice when the government is not listening, regardless of who you voted for or not. I'm trying at the very least to make sure that our party doesn't look at things like that. 'Cause that's what gets people politically in trouble. You got to remember your job is you are a representative, and it doesn't matter whether they voted, didn't vote, voted for you, or don't vote for you, or don't even like you. You still have a job to do, and I believe that in 100%. So it could be somebody that was my worst enemy come up and say, "Kenneth, this is how I feel about this matter. If you are a citizen of this country, my job is to go out there and voice that."
Correct.
But you're one of many, and most times the elected arm's job is to try to get consensus, what majority of the people are feeling, because you get one person saying, "I don't like this," but then you have another 5,000 saying they like it. Then your job is to represent the majority, right? So
Correct.
express your thoughts and views to us. That's our job, is to relay that. But sometimes the government may be busy trying to do the running and administrative elements of the government. So we can do our role by keeping our ears on the ground and listening to the people, and making sure the government doesn't go off track. Say, "Listen, this is what the people told us, right?
Right.
And this is how they feel," and help guide them with the governance of the country, because sometimes people don't really know how it's really done in a parliamentary perspective. You do a really good job of that, explaining to people, that you think it's as simple as this, but there's parliamentary proceedings, there's cabinet protocol, there's the civil service and elected arm relationship, all of these things. So it's about getting from point A to point B and understand how the journey and the road will be, what bumps in the roads, what smooth sailing is going to be like. So education and information and understanding is key. And I just want the public to know that we're willing to listen and educate and inform and advocate on your behalf.
Well, thank you, MP Brian, for sharing that and for letting us know that this listening tour that was postponed because of the landfill flyer is actually now tonight at the Seafarers Hall, 6:30 to 7 o'clock. And
Yes.
what I wanted to, because I'm going to ask you say I'm on the ground. Let me just tell you what I'm hearing on the ground now, so that you all can be prepared for this. It is starting to raise its head again. That there is some movements in the background. You can choose to answer or not, or based on what you're hearing, because you're on the ground yourself, about trying to overthrow, destabilize for power again. Those utterances is making its head again. Have you heard anything of the sort? There were no specific names. It's just saying that there is rumored that there's a power struggle again in trying to overthrow.
Well, I don't think those rumors ever stopped. So I can't say if they started back again, because, and it has a lot to do with the formulation of the government. The government is a coalition of three different groupings with different ideological positions. I think what triggered this heightened attention to that
Again,
again
because it's
is
just
the fact,
raising its head again.
yeah, and I think that had a little bit to do with the bill that was withdrawn, that had some components of environmental protection or lack thereof, from a conservation perspective. And then what that bill would have potentially done was expose the ideological positions of the various groups within the government to where they stand on it, right? Because you know the NCC, the National Conservation Council, has been a hot topic for some time, and you know I think your party that you were with, I'm not sure if you're still with them or what the case is. That's kind of irrelevant, to be honest with you. But the party you ran with,
The
it was more
TCCP.
pro-environmental. The TCCP, right, was more pro protection and support for the environment. The National Party wasn't seen as such. They were more pro development, and then the Independents had various different views. And you would have been able to see those things within the perspective of
Where they
of,
stood on that subject.
where they stood on that subject throughout the campaign. So once you had a significant bill like this come to or proposed to come to Parliament, it definitely naturally brings up some serious things, because it wasn't a motion, it was a bill, meaning that if it was passed, it becomes law.
Yeah.
A motion is for government to consider, and it can just go dead in the water if the government feels so. But this one was serious. So, you know, you saw a lot of positions come out from the, you know, the various different nonprofit organizations. Sustainable Cayman had a statement on it. There was articles in the news networks talking about it. So I think that all of that came up, and as a result, maybe there was whispers of a potential overthrow kind of thing. I didn't
But
see any
then the
substance.
bill was actually
I, that I,
withdrawn because of communications made with the government, and it was decided to withdraw the bill. So at the end of the day, if it was that hard and fast, the motioner, the person who tabled it, did have a
yeah.
choice. Would you say that that individual then saved this unrest possible?
Well,
Or
I don't know if I would categorize that
yeah,
as a save, because
right.
I think if you go back to the Hansards, you'll see where he says they will draw it for now,
Okay,
with
for
the
now.
intent to bring it back at the next sitting, if my memory serves me well, as to what he said on the floor of the House.
Okay.
Because and the indication, the reason for the withdrawal was on the basis of the government plans to bring some changes themselves, and he also wanted to do some public consultation on the bill that he presented,
Okay.
and potentially one or two amendments. So I don't think that this issue has gone away based on the indications and the utterances. To be honest, I was quite interested to see the debate happen,
Okay.
because, like I've spoke about the difference in ideological viewpoints from previous times. I think I did it on your show, and that coalitions, though they are necessary sometimes, it's a lot of what we had to struggle with ourselves in the PAC administration and the
Correct.
UPM administration. And I think that I don't think we're gonna get away from that, because the way the government is formed,
Structured.
it's just going to be, this is part of the business, you know. But I can't say to you with my hand on my heart that I was aware of any overthrowing. At least if there was, they didn't include Kenneth Bryan.
Okay.
So
No, I'm
so
just,
I
you said
well,
I'm on the ground, and I'm just making you know, we're just being open here. And this could be some of the
yeah.
things that come up, but people may embrace or not, or it could be something that come up tonight. But you rightfully aligned it with possibly that bill, that why it has raised its head, but it's being whispered very, I wouldn't even say whispered. It's raising its head again.
Well, you know what? If there's anything for consideration with the government, or I would hate to say the word overthrowing, it can't be an issue that what the people are concerned about is the cost of living.
Right.
That's what's worth fighting about and talking about.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like people don't want to be distracted about something as protecting the environment. You know, like I think most people want the environment protected and preserved, right? And that there's no, if you did a survey right now on the top 10 issues in the country,
Right.
I don't think people are going around putting on the top 10 of the issues, or fix the national conservation law or fix the planning law to allow me to allow NCC not to have the power that they have. That's just my genuine reaction. Though I recognize there's conflicts in different viewpoints across the country. But my job is to focus on the top priorities for the people. And I haven't had nobody come to my office and say, Ken, boy, the environment need less protection or need more protection. I've had them come and say, my light bill is due, my health insurance is up, the heat, the water bill, the food bill, the fuel
Cost of
bill,
living overall.
cost of living overall. That's what's in education, like focusing on things that are quality of life. So it's not on the top of my priority. I'm focusing on what is impacting the people today and what I think will impact them in the short, medium, and long term. Now, granted, this balance of where we are with sustainability, there is an obvious different views across the island. We're going to have to talk about it eventually. I really don't think it's going to go away. But for Georgetown Central, at least I know in Georgetown Central, it's not a top priority.
Okay.
But if the people of Central say to me, Kenneth, I want you to stick on this position, and this side is where I want you, then that's where I'm going to go. But for me, it's not the biggest priority, to tell you the truth.
Okay,
So,
thank you for clarifying. At
all
least
right.
giving some insight. I have on the screen the flyer for tonight. So if you want, I'll give you the opportunity to promote this yourself as the deputy leader of the
All right.
opposition.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate you allowing me the platform. So, again, as a part of our launch listening tour that we started it in Georgetown Central, not specifically to the constituency, but in town. And the series of this is behind just listening to the concerns of people and allowing them a place to vent their issues and giving them the commitment of following through and bringing it to the attention of the government or finding solutions the best way we know how. It is tonight. It is at the Seafarers Hall. It starts at 6:30 to 9 p.m. Seafarers Hall on Victory Avenue. So I would love for everybody to come out and this is the time to share. And remember, this is not about PPM. It's about a group of representatives who want to be your voice. And it doesn't matter about sides. It doesn't matter whether you voted for us or you didn't vote or you never voted before. Or it's not only about voters. It's about residents too, right? Because everybody's affected. So this is the opportunity to come and do that. And we're willing to listen and willing to act. So with that being said, thank you for allowing me to say that. And
we got a comment here from Aliano. It says, yes, MP Brian, that is the environment. The environment is needed, but the cost of living is getting worse, and the rich people coming here is doing more damage, and one man trying to fish to feed his family. That's what Aliano has commented. So in other words, he's agreeing with what you're saying. People are not, he understands the protection of the environment, but at the end of the day, a man need to eat.
Yeah. And I think we got to definitely get that balance right. But if the issue comes to the forefront, like say, for instance, this bill wasn't presented by myself or members of the opposition, but if the bill presents itself naturally, what I think every elected member should do, and the government itself, is there's a discussion here or consideration. You have to make a decision. You have to vote yes, no, abstain, or don't be in the room. So it forces you to have the conversation. When those types of decisions come to the forefront, it forces me, when I think of it from an individual perspective, is to go back to Central and say, okay, Georgetown Central, here is a piece of legislation that is being forward. It's significant. It'll have these kinds of impacts or repercussions, positive, negative, pros and cons. Where do you feel about it? But obviously, I would advise them what my thoughts on it first, and then hear what they think about it, and go from there. So it's not something we are putting to the forefront. I personally want to talk about the things that are affecting them right now, and particularly in people's pockets. But if we have to deal with it, we have to deal with it. So I was already prepared to have the discussion when I saw the bill being presented, but then it was withdrawn. So those 6 hours worth of research and preparedness didn't go to waste, but I definitely going to get those sleepless nights back.
There we go.
we're ready for whichever one. But I want to thank the author of that comment. Thank you for commenting on that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, encourage everybody to come out tonight if they can. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. God bless.
Take
Have a good
care.
show.
Thanks.
Bye.
There we go. We want to thank MP Brian for sharing that. As I said, for those of you just joining us, he penned a letter to the Premier asking those things. You go back to get a recap on that, but it was more about what things we're doing here in regards to this virus and what protection from a PR standpoint, from a public health standpoint for training and that sort of stuff. And that's in a nutshell. So I'm quite sure in days to come, we will hear more on that. And as we said, remember that meeting, the listening tour, that they had to postpone the evening, that it was mayhem with traffic and the landfill fire. That's actually taking place this evening at 6:30 at the Seafarers Hall here off Victoria Avenue. So if you want to go and join them to hear that they're listening to you, as the member of parliament alluded to, they're not going to be talking at you. They want to hear from you, whether or not you supported them or not. They don't want to, even though it's the Progressive People's Movement, the People's Progressive Movement, I always switch those up, that is hosting it. They don't want you to come with that in mind. Everyone is being represented and they want to hear from you. So I'm just sharing that with you in a nutshell. The phone lines remain open, 936-8255, to join in on the conversation. Let's get into the big picture of the police, RCIPS, their report. We want to go into that so that we can share some of the statistics that was broken down by the Commissioner of Police. And we're going to do this pretty much in a nutshell as quickly as we can. And I'm happy to open this platform as we go into it and we hear some of these numbers that are quite staggering, but just take my time and dissect it with you as we keep you all abreast and informed. Andrew, I know you made a comment here in regards to the traveling, and you said Caymanians and work permit holders travel extensively to different countries. Does this mean now that another vaccine will be introduced? Question. World Health Organization has not published anything regarding the ship situation. Not directly, but they're speaking about it broadly. So there's been nothing about any vaccines or anything like that, Andrew. So it is an evolving, developing story. So we'll just have to keep our eyes on it, to be honest. But you are quite right. Tourism is our number one destination, as MP Brian stated. And these are things, which is why he's sounding the alarm and asking the relevant questions that, again, aligns with what you're asking here somewhat with what that member of the opposition and leader of the deputy leader of the opposition is actually asking too. So we'll just wait. And once we have an answer, I'm quite sure they'll probably be shared with us or be put in the public's domain. We're willing to update you accordingly. And Harry is saying, according to 2026 report, the United Kingdom government would have to impose survival level food rationing within a month, which means British farming and fishing could just about keep the country's population alive, barely. If such actions were to be taken. And okay, you're answering this person at 6:37. Good evening, Miss Barber. Good to have you here with us this evening. I hope you're still celebrating. Cayman Brat, the best island. I need a job in the BRAC. Gotta pay bills and feed kitty cats. Thank you for commenting there. I'm quite sure, my dear commenter, that you are in the line with plenty more that are over there and elsewise as well. All I got to say is don't give up. Keep the faith and keep at it. Let's look at this report now. What I'm talking about is the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service Report, the 2025, that shows some staggering statistics. And pretty much in a nutshell, because of time, overall crime here in the Cayman Islands increased by 13% in 2025 is what has been declared, with 4,736 offenses recorded. Now, if you only hear that number, you might think that our Cayman Islands is becoming unsafe. But that's not the full story. Okay, that's really not the full story. The increase, my friends, is driven mostly by, in this report, disorderly behavior, common assaults, verbal disputes, alcohol-related incidents, and neighbor conflicts. These, my friends, are really public order offenses, not violent crimes. That's something to think about. And it speaks a lot about the Cayman Islands as well. But what's very important here is that we here in the Cayman Islands is not experiencing a surge in violent crimes. And that's something we have to be thankful and grateful for in comparison to some of our neighbors and everywhere else around the world. What we are experiencing is a surge in social tension. Think about what we were just talking about when the member for Georgetown Central say his members are his constituents are coming to him about putting food on the table. We see comments here and all that sort of stuff. People are just getting frustrated with life because they can't see their monies going. And look at these stats of 2025, what that's saying. It's not violent crime, but is it trending to possibly become? I'm just going to stick with the facts. The fact is that in this report of 2025, what we have seen is an escalation in social tension. And that is telling us, my friends, that something about the pressures of our society is definitely like a pressure cooker. Okay? That's what that is signaling. What they said in these reports that is improving is that, because this really is important based on the statistics that they've shared, is that opposite to what I just said, serious and violent crimes are down by 16%. Attempted murder is down by 6%. Burglary as well. Despite us seeing some of the things on social media and we're seeing what was happening in town, burglary, based on data for 2025, was down by 31%. We also saw in 2025 that firearm-related crimes were slightly down as well. And fatal collisions as well, down by 45%. For a jurisdiction, in comparison to our brothers and sisters, and yes, I have to compare because it means we're doing something right. It speaks a lot about our country. It gives a stamp of approval, certifying stamp of pride, because we are a tourist destination. When we do stats and speak about these statistics of this nature being heavily dependent on tourism, and people looking at an alternate jurisdiction as well, we saw in the financial news, to do business with us, the other pillar that makes up our income and revenue for the Cayman Islands, the financial services. So for our country, these are major wins. They are indicators of stability, contrary to what you may say is high, we shouldn't need any. We shouldn't have these numbers. These are signs, whether or not you agree, from the 2025 statistics, that the RCIPS is doing effective work in key areas. Cayman, contrary to what people are saying, let's say what we got to say from an informed perspective based on this data. Cayman is not spiraling when it comes to crimes. Cayman is holding the line. It may be tight, but we're still a blessed nation. What, though, we see, which is heart-wrenching, that is getting worse. And we cannot ignore these areas where we are slipping, is that robbery is showing up by 55%. Sexual offenses are also up by 20%. Violent offenses are up by 6% overall, and motor vehicle collisions up by 5%. Please bear this in mind. These are statistics of 2025. We're just the 7th of May, okay? So what numbers I'm giving you now would not include the motor vehicle accidents from the 1st of January. So just keep that in the back of your mind, okay? And based on those collisions of up by 5% in 2025, we must look at the one that really tugged very hard at my heart. 58% of sexual offense victims in the year 2025 were children. Let me say that again. More than half of the victims were children. That, my friends, is not a statistic. That is a national emergency. But we could come back to that. And why? It's because that particular number, that particular sector of people, we shouldn't have none of that, no matter the age. But when you talk about children, that section, in my humble opinion, deserves its own space. Let's look then at some of these statistics and what it means then for overall safety, for safety. Despite the rise in total crime, we can say based on these statistics that Cayman remains one of the safest jurisdictions in the Caribbean. And that's something we all honestly have to be proud of. We see where tourist areas remain low incident zones, despite us having 1-2 idle hands and lazy people going there while people are swimming and they're going after their stuff on the beach. Let me repeat. Cayman remains one of the safest jurisdictions in the Caribbean, and tourist areas remain low incident zones. And for anyone who comes here and tries to disrupt that, you're messing with our bread, and we will not sit idly by and have you tarnish or damage our reputation when it comes to especially this industry, tourism, and any other industry for that matter. We also see, despite the rise in total crime, serious violent crimes remains rare. And we see where firearm crime remains tightly controlled in the 2025 report. But safety, my friends, is not automatic, because what we're seeing, safety is international. And safety requires accountability, first and foremost, action, and awareness. And hence me taking the time out this evening to break this down into Sabrina Speaks style. What we have noticed then, and people are saying, it's all these people that we're importing here, this balloon in the population, we never had these sort of things happening here before. And you know what, I don't understand it. It's the different cultures. Well, let's look at it. Let's just look at the population growth and the culture pressures that could be impacting some of these numbers. We see where population has grown rapidly. The clarion call to slow it down continues. But can we just flip a switch and say stop now? The honest truth, that's not realistic. Hence immigration reform. It just took effect on the 1st of May. We are more diverse than ever before. And that, my friends, is what the generational Caymanians, and I have to use that term this evening, is most angry about. more nationalities, more cultures that are being invited here, married in here, settling here either on a temporary contract or government contract, statutory authority contract, whatever means. More expectations will actually come. Equally, more stress, because we're seeing it change pretty much by the minute. But let me be clear. So I'll get to you. Diversity is not the problem, but rapid change without proper integration is creating friction. Because what we see is when people arrive without orientation, community connection, cultural understanding, because they're only here with cha-ching at the forefront of their minds. When we see people arrive without support systems, because they just come here, sold this magic ticket or got this dream, and you just thrust in. Conflicts increases. Misunderstandings also increases. And public order offense increases as well. So this is not about blaming anyone. This is strictly about acknowledging the reality. Maiden Sunar says, "Hi, good evening, ma'am. I take a self-release and I work that company more than 2 years, but the permit refused. What can I do to accompany? What can I do? And company is not going to give me a release letter now that, what can I do, ma'am?" We don't answer direct questions like that, but I take a self-release and you have to provide a written letter to WORC saying why. And it was clear on this platform that there are certain reasons why would give you a consideration to be considered to move on to another employer. So you need to explain. You have every right to go to the Department of Labor and Pension if you felt that you were released wrongfully. And then you have to write WORC to explain your case. Okay? So you need to first go and form a report if you're dissatisfied with how you're being handled to the Department of Labor and Pension. They're located above the Bank of Butterfield, right there in the CNB roundabout, above Domino's, I think it is in that building. Yeah. So you go there, Midtown Plaza. Connie, where is the sex offenders registry? Good question, Connie Bonnie. And one thing I must raise the hand over my head for is that Sandra has been shouting for this for a very long time. Now, if these statistics don't prove that is needed, I don't know what else will. What? It has to continue to climb? It has to continue to climb? We have to have more kids being grossly... That speaks so much about our society. Denver says, sexual offenses committed by what different nationalities? I don't know. I can't use something. Lies. I'm just reading the report, my sweet. So if it only expat molesting kids, name, shame, and deport them, it doesn't matter. I really don't feel that it should be nationality based. This registry needs to be done. Simple, plain and simple. And many a times the reason why it's given is to protect the identity of the child. And we know how that can go. But I must say that at the end of the day, the registry is needed. And they're not being a professional in this area where protecting our children is concerned for identifying them. We know the bullying that can come. We know the mental anguish in itself by being molested, what that can do to a child's mental psyche. And then having them on public display is a different thing. So it is very delicate when you're dealing with kids. I totally understand it. And any victim, any person, no matter what age, to be honest, it is rather delicate to deal with. But to say that the registry is needed, yes, 1 million times over. Harry says, I think there is a fine line between celebrating your heritage if you go to another country and then imposing your culture on someone else if you go to live abroad and fly your own country's flag. You're quite right, Harry. And we're not saying that you can't celebrate in our country where you're coming from, but have some respect that you're in another man's country and not plaster it all over the place. We saw those sentiments being shared as we celebrate our Heritage Month here, that we wishing that people would come out more in their Caymanian colors and show their Caymanian pride versus other nationalities that are living amongst us when they're celebrating their national celebrations here in Cayman. Oh my God, there's no mistaking what country they're from. Why don't we feel that same energy from our very own people is what people are saying. Yes, it's true. That's fine, but you should at least one, learn the language, two, understand and follow the law, and three, understand and respect the local norms. Harry, that's at sometimes is not really done. It's really not done. Denver says that will never know because we don't even know the amount of different nationalities are not even disclosed, that are not disclosed. I'm quite sure with freedom of information, those granular details at some point may be shared, Denver. But for the purpose of this report, this is what was released and this is what I'm actually sharing. Good evening, caller. You're live on Sabrina Speaks. What's on your mind?
Good evening, honey.
Good evening.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
I was listening to you sharing those statistics regarding crime in Cayman, and I just want to kind of, I guess, put this out there. And I can share my own personal instances why I don't believe that the report is entirely accurate, but I do acknowledge that they can only report based on what is reported to them, right? And I don't actually think that there is a downturn in crime. I actually think it's an uptick in crime. There may be, and we may no longer be regarding it, or we may not yet have reached the stage where we're saying we have a serious problem with violent crime. I think that's for one or two reasons. We're getting people who come from jurisdictions where robbing the restaurant, like Al Kebab, is normal. That's not normal to the Cayman Islands. To have, this is 4 robberies in the space of 9 months?
But remember, these stats are from 2025. What we're actually speaking about now they did not even come into the numbers of what since January 1st.
Well, correct. What has recently happened? I myself have been the victim. My vehicle, and I have security cameras. My vehicle in the last month has been burglarized twice by the same individual. Okay? The same individual continues to damage my property, burglarize my car. The remedy for it was, and I quote, do you want to continue to pursue it? Because when they get to court, the judge just lets them out anyway. So you just want us to dispose of it? Well, yes, because quite frankly, it's easier for me to take matters into my own hands if I ever catch him on my property and deal with him, because I can't rely on the police to do their jobs. I'm sorry. That's the reality. And I'll give you another instance. I walk in my neighborhood frequently. Very early morning, I phoned the police and I documented it. I phoned, not the police, let me take that back, 911, to say there's a vehicle that started. No one is in the vehicle. It's parked up next to a home with a single parent and her child that lives there. I don't see anyone in the car. I'm a little bit nervous. We've had an uptick in break-ins, car burglaries, what have you not. I think about a year or two, less than 2 years ago, we had someone break into a 95-year-old woman's home in my neighborhood. So no, there's no down. There's no arm. It's not going down, Sabrina. When people are that brave, and I live in I would say, upper middle class neighborhood, not suggesting that, that it's okay to do it anywhere. But what I'm saying is, we were promised more policing. Hasn't happened. Like I said, I phoned 911. And after kind of circling a cul-de-sac for what was almost an hour, the police had yet to show up. 911.
Mhm.
So, no, I don't think that there is a downturn in crime. I actually think it's going unreported because we just think and feel like they do nothing to address the crime.
Mhm.
So, no, I don't believe that there's a downturn or a down thing in it. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So what do you think people
So,
need to do in order to start reporting more? Because the more you
you want me
report,
to tell
the
you
more
what?
the
You want me to tell you
stats.
what I'm going to do? You want me to tell you what I'm going to do? I mean, if I ever catch him in my yard, I'm never fortunate enough to wake up when the security cameras are kind of going off
Uh-huh.
to get outside there, because let me tell you something. He would pick up one broom and corner his eye, right? But what I'm saying is, and they tell you, oh, don't take matters into your own hands. My vehicle's been destroyed on multiple occasions because he's destroying the locks on my vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing absolutely nothing. He's stolen almost $500 worth of property out of my vehicles. I have no means or ways of recovering that.
Mm-hmm.
They know he's a menace. They know he's a menace to society, no less. But it is what it is. You just like it or lump it. That's not how it should be.
Mm-hmm.
He chose to be a criminal. Everybody has a choice. He chose that lifestyle, and society is being punished for it. That's what's actually happening.
Do you
And
feel
if the police,
do you feel that some of this has to do with because there is a statistic that says a 55% rise in robbery is not random. It actually reflects
mine isn't
rising
random.
cost of living. You know,
Mine isn't random. It's the same person breaking into my vehicles every time. It's not at random. We get the police, and they send us messages in our group and say, FYI, Sabrina's just been let out of prison again. Lock your cars up. Lock your car. So you are aware that person who is a menace, why don't you increase your patrolling? We were promised increased patrolling.
mm-hmm.
I have yet to see them show up. Hold on. But we can have 8 police officers, no less than 8 police officers who holding a speed gun and the other 6 to watch them do so, to write traffic tickets. But we can't get nobody to patrol. Miss me with all that messy hair. Miss me with it. People are sick and tired. And the only time anything is going to be done, Sabrina, people are fed up. People work too hard to have low lives, breaking into their homes and their cars, stealing their property, just destroying their property. People can say, well, don't leave valuables in your car. This is not, what if they're not valuables? In my case, mine was my notary tools. What the hell is he going to do with that? What the hell is he going to do with that? My battery charger, like a jumper cable, like one of those fancy jumper cable set for the vehicle that can jump start the vehicle. Where the hell else should it be besides in the vehicle? So when people make those suggestions, well, maybe you shouldn't leave your valuables in your car. I'm not talking about my purse. We're talking about car things in the car. But that's not addressing the solution. Why don't you pick up the criminal and hold his backside and go to court and tell the judge, look, this person is victimized this person no less than 6 times. 6 times he's done this to me. But their remedy is we can't keep him in jail, Siobhan. So you shouldn't even pursue the charges because there's nothing that we can do.
So you
How is
must
that okay?
continue to be victimized.
Pretty much. So no, I don't agree with the statistics that there's a downturn. I think it's being unreported because people feel helpless. People feel like nothing is being done. People feel like they're not doing anything. I also have a problem in my neighborhood with vicious dogs. I'm sick and tired. He's sick and tired of posting. Sabrina, lock up your dog. Sabrina, it's always the same culprit. Nothing's being done. Someone was attacked. Her dog was attacked. Nothing was done.
So when people take matters into their own hands, then the wrong person then gets thrown into jails or is paying for a crime. When you have documented that you've gone to the authorities and nothing is being done, it's like everybody's throwing up their hands. So at some point, that pressure cook up little. Yeah.
Well, understand that I too have young children in my home, and who's to know when that crime is going to become more that criminal is going to become more desperate, and what is a simple car burglary turns into a home invasion, turns into a home burglary that he confronts me and my 2 children. How do we know? We have senior citizens living in my neighborhood, and I'm talking 95 plus, retirees living in here who can't live in peace because of this menace. And then
have you spoken to your representatives about trying to help this? No, that was not a trigger. It was a genuine question.
I will not comment.
Okay.
I will not comment.
Well, let's digress from that because Harry did ask a question, and it's a sound question to ask. Is the report recorded crime or convicted crimes? Because there's a massive difference between the two. Well, based on Harry was asking whether or not the 2025 RCIPS report, whether or not the report was recorded crimes or convicted crimes. I can assure
recorded.
I can tell you that, Harry,
crimes
that
occurred.
Crimes
occurred in 2025. Some of them haven't even made their way through the legal process to be determined, for it to be determined whether those persons should be charged.
So the answer is it's just recorded crimes, meaning that what is reported and not convictions or court outcomes as yet. So it is just what's been reported. And there, as the caller is alluding to, a lot have not been reported.
Yeah, a lot. People just lose hope. People are hopeless, and people are resorting to taking matters into their own hands. Again, I want to be clear that is not what I am advocating for. Mm-hmm. But when I have been the victim of a burglary, again, no less than 6 times, my property has been stolen, my vehicles have been destroyed, damaged. What am I to do? How much do I overlook? How much do I say, don't worry about it? How much? I'm being left in direct harm with my family because of what I feel the police simply not doing their job. Not doing their job. It is your job to protect and serve, not mine. Not mine. And continuing to keep a known criminal who, by the way, has a violent criminal past, you keeping this person out and telling me, well, we cannot keep him in. We can't get a conviction. So it don't even make no sense that you proceed or pursue this, because nothing's going to happen when he gets to court. The judge just lets him out.
But still, that is not the solution, because as you've described,
but that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
That can't be the answer.
It's almost pushing you to get in trouble.
But that's precisely what I'm advocating for. And then you will find those 8 officers who were previously unable and short-staffed. They have every excuse in the world, Sabrina, why they can't come to a crime, or why they can't investigate, or it's always some excuse. It's always some excuse, but somehow you can get 8 of them to go write traffic tickets in the same spot, no less, in the same area. Yeah. They don't even space it out. They all hitch up in one spot to write traffic tickets. It's just madness, and for people like me, who I think are productive citizens and paying taxes in this country, no less, paying their salaries, we getting shafted, Sabrina. We getting shafted, and I feel hopeless. And for me now, it's like I'll never report another incident. To the police. I've shared the video, the latest burglary to my vehicle, with the police, who happens to be the one that investigates it. And they've said, well, what do you want to do? I said, nothing. You all do nothing about it. You all do nothing. The response was,
you're giving the evidence. The court system is definitely not dealing with the issue. Yeah, it that would frustrate anybody. You can't live in peace.
That's it. But if I catch him outside and I lick him down with a broomstick,
you could get in problems.
Bet you they're gonna come for me. You understand? People, I don't think that good people get up every day to be a criminal. I sure as hell don't. But I'm frustrated to no end. And I'm frustrated with what's happening here. And like I said, okay, it's my vehicle. What about my 95-year-old neighbor? What about her? You know, and again, nothing's being done. Nothing's being done. And they can say it till they are blue in the face that they're trying. That's not the general sentiment. It doesn't feel that way, and it doesn't appear that way. Like I said, when you tell people that you don't have enough staff complement to come out to this incident or to come out to that incident, however, you can have 6, 8 police standing up there, like I said, writing tickets. I find it highly unacceptable that you would make that kind of excuse. I'm sorry. It rings kind of hollow for me. Rings very hollow, but
Well, thank you,
I
my
don't
love.
know.
Leave that with me. I know
Will
yesterday
do.
a part of the news segment, and I'll take this moment to just digress for a short minute. You did share with us. Where you going? I was actually going to allow you to share the celebration with your daughter because we shared this news yesterday with you all, and I'm quite sure you'll remember the image that I shared with you. That is Miss Siobhan's daughter, and I had no clue, but it was a part of our news segment yesterday. Let me just share this with you all. Oops, there we go. Let me just share this with you, and we share and congratulate. Yeah, that's right. I'm trying to get the picture up. I realize that there's a delay, when you were actually hearing me. So
I
you
thought
hung
you
up.
told me to hang up.
No,
I
I
thought you
said
were telling me to hang up.
before you go, I said I asked you, thank you to leave us there, but before you go, just share with us, and we want to share congratulations your daughter achievement.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
Oh, thank you.
2026 Tourism Ambassador Speak Off
Yeah,
competition. She was the lucky winner of that. Tell us a little bit
she
about what
was.
that is. Tell us, Mama.
To be honest, from what I understand, Ariana is, well, she takes her own initiative. She comes up with what she wants to do, and I am the chauffeur on the sounding board, the sounding board, and or the butler. In this case, it was a tourism speak off. It was over, I would say, maybe about a 2-month period. She's been preparing for it, and where they send in a competition video, just saying, whatever. There's a question that they had to answer, so they make a video, they submit it, and they select from the video a series of finalists. She was lucky enough to be, one of the 4 finalists to be selected for the Tourism Speak Off. Her and 3 other young ladies, big up to these ladies. Her and 3 young ladies, I believe. She from Cayman Prep, 2 of the young ladies from John Gray, and 1 from Clifton Hunter. I hope I have that correct. They all did incredibly well yesterday. And I dare say, I think the future looks very bright for us. But yeah, so there was that Tourism Speak Off. They were each, they had a lot of coaching. They were aided by some Toastmaster, I would say, leaders. I want to personally, I hope this is okay, personally thank Hannah Peralta. From what I can remember and just dealing with Ariana and the competition, this is like her baby. She is super passionate about it. She's been very involved. She's been very informative. She's helped tremendously. Obviously, I can only speak to Ariana, but I can't imagine that she would have done any less for any of the other contestants. And she has done a tremendous job with it. It was an incredible showcase of talent. And so, so it all culminated yesterday at Hotel Indigo. They had to present, they had to make a slide, I think it was like a 3.5 minute presentation about, I guess, more or less to sum it up, what they see could be done to improve tourism. But they had specific topics to write on. Hers was multi-generational travel, and how she would improve that or make it easier. And apparently, they thought it was a great idea, her suggestion. And so there that is.
Mark it and patent it, put a patent on it.
No, my love. She would give that to them for free, but they would go and pay for it. But let's be digress.
Oh my gosh. Well, I just want to share congratulations to you.
Well, thank you so much.
To her as well.
Well, thank you. So her and I think 3 other young people, the past winners, will be going off to a whole immersion to a school. I can't remember the name right now, and I don't want to curse on the bad words because I'll get it wrong. In Switzerland for 2 weeks in the summer. It's a hospitality school, one of the top, I understand. And then she will attend a contest of sorts, a regional competition in Grenada later in the year. And then, of course, it comes with a series of appearances that she will attend, I guess, with DOT.
Okay.
Just speaking about, I guess, tourism in general.
Well, we'll definitely follow up on that, and definitely we hope that you keep us abreast of what's going on. And if you get any more pictures as well on her journey and all of those who are going, please share them with us. We'll keep the community updated. Thank you so much, and congratulations again from all of us here.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a good evening. Bye-bye. Yeah, we share in that celebration. I'd like to share the good news too. You know, we did it in the news cap yesterday, but I didn't realize that it was Siobhan's daughter. So yeah, not we want to congratulate all of them, but it hits home when you can relate to, again, you know who they're related to. Good evening, caller. You're live on Sabrina Speaks. What's on your mind today? Please don't tell me you have another death.
No,
Thank you, Jesus.
no.
Thank you, Jesus.
But I am applauding Siobhan with what she said, because I had the same. I understand her frustration, but I understand the same thing. I mean, I've experienced the same thing, and I've told her about him. I need to go. I got black cats over my yard. Whoa. I told the police, I say, well, I can't do nothing. But if I take action in my hands, then I'm going to come to arrest me. But I can tell them this right now. I can protect myself. I can make sure that the people in my boundaries or whatever, and when Honor come for me, I can make sure that I got the biggest pot that I got in my kitchen that I could lift, boil it, because I know Honor can come, and I can be prepared. I can be like fooling his grandmother. And when I knock on my door, I got a portion with a big pot of hot water, but I hope the ones that I reported to is the ones that come. If not, well, another ones come. The innocent will have suffered for the guilty, but on the can prevent nothing before it happens. I say, but then when I take vengeance, then I come for me, well, I can go for honor too. I can be well prepared to go to jail for something, but not only for who I report on it, so that honor can't do nothing. Because I repeat this already, I had told them from years ago, and look at how, this man now, look at how long when they used to have the logo on the police car saying, we care, we listen, and we act. You remember that? When that used to be big, bold print on the sides of the police cars?
Mm-hmm.
And I went on, I told him, I said, I don't care, I don't listen, and on the show, I don't act. And about 1 month after I went on to the show, that disappeared off of the cars. You see that on them anymore?
It's true.
And that not been today. So this is what I'm telling you about police. We have no police, but they are useless. They are there for a salary. I am sorry to say so, but I have proven it. Not 1 time, not 2 times, not 3 times, not 4 times. Numerous times. Calling them is like saying nothing. And I understand what she said. They don't know what to do. You try to do the right thing. And like my mother used to say, if you do, you're damn. If you don't, you're damn. So I don't know what to tell her, but I understand her frustration. Because they don't do one thing. They come and hit my door up and bring anybody and show them. I understand the little old boy back in jail now, which I knew he won't get it. But he comes, and you know what? They going to tell me when I call to report it. Because I now report it till like a day after it happened, because I didn't heard it. Because I tell him, I said, I've heard when he came here that Sunday night and did that, I probably would have been in jail if I wouldn't go out with him a chat. When I got to beat him, I don't think Swearer would have bring him back. I wasn't going to trouble him, but I was going to beat him lifeless. And they tell me that it was too late. The proof was down outside, still I never moved the cement block where he took my block. I could show him. And then in my door, and the pieces were down on the step my shop plus in front of it. But they never even come. They never even come. They tell me they couldn't do nothing because I had to report it when it happened. I said, excuse me, I didn't know when it happened. If I knew when it had happened, I would have been out there and tell them that I won't be coming probably for me. Because like I say, it happened Sunday night and I reported it Monday. And they got to tell me it's too late. You ever hear it late?
Yeah. That's, well, people are getting frustrated with what sentiment you shared and what the previous caller shared.
It's the sinner, Sabrina, and God could do me move from the middle of this kitchen where I'm standing. I just got through feeding Bill when I was washing out his syringe. But that is, I'll call him numerous times about different things because we got one little new front down in head. Ain't no good. He come down all these years enjoying their left and nobody can reckon he's disrespectful as anything. And I call him about him and all that, and they gonna come to me instead of going to him. He gonna tell me that I'm a nuisance. He tell me that I'm a waste, so you know what, and all kinds of things. And a little piece of tail that younger than my son. and disrespect my neighbor, odd-year-old mother-in-law down there, because she says she know he foppish, and we can't get him out up in him. And he's speeding, that's why we make the rig. Well, he got him here for a goddamn racetrack. When he coming around that corner, it's all like that helicopter in the air coming to take the whole stop off. That's how fast he comes on here. But if he hit him, I bet you he can get chopped up. If he hit him, he can get chopped up.
Well, there we go. We hope that the powers that be are listening, and we hope that some of these concerns that are being heard, that even the judiciary system can see, and we have to get some
Nothing is
solution.
done. Please, that you get sick of it. I understand where Siobhan coming from, because it's not no good. They don't hear you.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I want you to do for me, and I gotta tell her what, but I'm kind of late today, but I need you to ask Dawn. Tell her I'm gonna have a big surprise for her. I ain't telling her what it is till it happens, but I need her phone number. In a couple of months, I'm gonna have a big surprise for her, but I need her phone number to call her when it happens to see if she accept it. If she accept it, well, she accept it, and if she don't, but I ain't telling her what it is.
Okay.
So I need her phone number, and you could probably give it to her and give her my WhatsApp number, and she could call me.
Okay. This is Donnie that shares the plants with us, right?
Dawn, hi.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. I will.
Yeah.
All right, my love.
Yeah.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you so much. Have a good
Okay,
evening.
My friend back yet? No.
Who? Which?
Uh-huh.
Who's?
You know who I want call
Oh,
me?
no. Later.
I got a message and say, are you back yet?
No, not yet. Later.
Okay.
Around 10
all right.
o'clock. All right.
Okay. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Only in the Cayman Islands. Harry got a question here. He was asking if we have the right to self-defense and defense to your property, you just can't punish that person for committing the crime, or am I mistaken? What I am aware of, and this is just quick, is that reasonable force. Here in the Cayman Islands, you have the right to defend yourself and your property, but only with reasonable force. And the law protects you if you genuinely believe you are in danger, but it doesn't allow excessive or deadly force unless life is also at risk. So what is being described here is more provocation, frustration, and it's a fine line between you saying, and it goes right back to what people are saying. Why does it have to be escalated where you go into someone's house and blood is shed for you to really get some sort of justice? And that's where it's frustrating, Harry. So yes, the Cayman Islands do have the right to self-defense in limited circumstances to use reasonable force to protect themselves and property. So that's the key word there, reasonable force. It's a fine line with frustration and this mounting building what will be deemed as excessive and as what we have heard described here, because you can hear the frustration is mounting. Yes, so let's see. I'm really hoping though that it never escalates to that, but we can see and understand what people are going through, and they are very frustrated. Good evening to you. Yes, you are late. Auntie, where is Miss Joyce Ann? Oh, she listens, but she be late. She just don't comment. I gotta tell her. APB out for Miss J. APB is out for Miss Joyce Ann. That brute, she listens. Damien is saying they cover up the real crimes, especially when it's high-profile individual or crime areas that they're afraid to approach. Andrew is saying, and I'm going in reverse here, there is a saying, more is less and less is more. The cake is not getting bigger, just more hungry. Angry mouths that will fight for a bone. You're quite right. And what we're seeing, as I alluded to before taking that call, is that we're seeing where there could be an increase in these burglaries based on the 2025 statistics. It often reflects rising cost of living, wage stagnation, financial stress that people are actually feeling or continues to get worse, more high value items than in the public spaces as well. and more economic inequality. These are what is reflecting now. This, again, even though being reported in 2026, is a compilation of what was reported. And that's the difference. I think that's what Harry was getting at. We don't even know what the outcomes will be from this, whether or not these people have already reoffended. We don't know. But what we do get is a sense that the frustration is mounting and building. And people got to probably just start taking matters into their own hands, because they're fighting to keep the lights on. They're fighting to just keep some sort of normalcy. They're being impacted as well with everything that's hitting them. And then you just got these menace and these nuisances that are just damaging your property. And then those who are there to protect and serve is saying, well, there's nothing more we can do. There makes no sense of even following through with the charges because the courts just let them out. It's just this. But at what point do you say enough is enough? That's not a campaign slogan for this purpose. It's really a true saying, because I share and I can understand where these people are actually coming from. Denver is saying another waste of time on financial matters. Enjoying the show, Sue. Oh, you're answering Miss Sue, who asked, why is the premier traveling when people here can afford to live? Okay. You said, can you tell us why the premier has gone to the other side of the world? Please, when the people of Cayman can't afford to live. He's going over there to defend, protect, and to definitely keep our financial services pillars afloat. That was what was released, because we know we are a financial jurisdiction. So there's lots more, I'm quite sure. He will be updating us of this trip, the outcomes, and so forth, hoping that we can probably secure more revenue incomes and make our lives better. With these trips with this trip that he has made. Harry says, are the police and punishment system and the courts knowingly understaffed? You're asking, are the police and punishment system and courts knowingly understaffed and underfunded like the UK are? They just, well, somewhat different. Well, I can answer wholeheartedly about that. Yes, they are. And they need a new home. And they need proper facilities. Yes, they do. They are underfunded. Because, like Andrew alluded to, there's only one cake. And just the operations of government, we're seeing where space is limited. Even though they got a new home, they retrofitted a bank. And that is not enough. They need better equipment, improved processes. And yes, they could do it a little bit more funding. I know some of you may say, no, she's talking foolishness. You just got, no. We have heard that from the bench directly. We could do a little bit better with them. We could do a little bit better. So yeah, and that was unsolicited. That is just the truth. Because as a former enforcement officer, I've been dealing with that. And some of the places is still like those days when I used to go file. So yeah, there has been some improvement, but there's a lot more to be done if they were adequately funded and if somebody really, really gave them the listening ear. Miss Nalita, hi TD. I know I miss everything this evening, but I am off tomorrow, so I'll do my best for the show tomorrow, you know. You're something else. Barbara G, I take my hat off to this new government. They are doing a magnificent job. Miss Melita is also saying, Denver, the premier has a responsible job, Bobo. It doesn't just surround the Cayman Islands. And Harry is saying, looks like the Cayman Islands may be looking into a land reclamation. Yep, let's see. Yeah, hi, Miss Joyce Ann. Where she is? She just came on or what? Tell me. But she listens, don't worry. Oh, just in case, even though she doesn't comment, you're saying, hi, Miss Joyce Ann. There you go. I'll definitely tell her that on the call-in for her. What a mess. Well, I'm quite sure she got out already. Trust me. But oh my gosh, it's 7:01. Yes, they never thought about these things when they opened the gates for population growth. Live happy. Kaboom! Is this 2 evenings back to back? You got the kaboom? Man, you're on the ball. You're quite right. And whether or not we saw it late, I don't think we prepared for it. and coming out of the lockdown with this pent up demand and getting back to start and da 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 didn't help either. It has been my pleasure bringing you another episode of Sabrina Speaks. I want to thank all of you for your continued support and participation, and definitely your feedback, be it on or off air, even when you see me out in the supermarkets, even at the stoplights. Yes, it's real. Thank you so much for your continued support. We'll be back to continue to dig down into this because tomorrow is open mic, which means I can stop mid-sentence, mid-subject. We can change the course of direction because the floor is yours. Please do have a good evening. Love you lots. Good night. Be safe. Remember, seafarers, we want you all to go down there. There's a listening tour tonight. It's kicked off a half hour ago. It goes until 9. They want to hear from you. This is not a branding for PPM. It doesn't mean you have to be a party member. They want to hear from you. Everyone, remove the parties out of it. Just go and talk to them. I did my job. Now it's up for us to do ours. Take care. See you tomorrow. Good night. God bless.
That's a wrap for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of the conversation. Remember, the dialogue doesn't stop here. Stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same place, right here on CMR TV and radio, where your voice matters and your truth is heard. Until then, Cayman, take care of yourself and each other.
That's it for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks, where your voice matters, your story counts, and your truth is always welcome. Join us weekdays from 5 until 6:30 p.m. right here on CMR TV as we dive into the topics that matter most to you. Catch the show live or on demand at cmrtv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always speak your truth.